This, ladies and gentlemen, is the latest video going viral of all of these girls, young girls. I can't tell if it's a college graduation. I believe it's a high school graduation. Pretty sure it's a high school graduation. You can see how everything is tore up. The chairs is tore up. The women are dancing crazy. And I don't want to play the music because obviously I don't want to issue with the video getting messed up or anything like that. Let me give it to you from a different angle so that you'll better understand exactly what's happening. It's not just the people that's in the crowd. It's also, or the people that's on the floor. It's also the people that's in the crowd. You can see the young boy right there. He's happy. He has his own iPhone and he's recording. The mothers, the sisters, the daughters, lots of women in the crowd. I don't even really see any men whatsoever. So it seems to be an all-girls school. And the name of the school, according to what people are sending me, is called Medicine Prep. I've seen a lot of videos be sent to me of this crowd, of these people that are going crazy. And they asked me to chime in on it and give my perspective from a black man's perspective. And I'm trying to understand, what is it that you want me to say? That it fits the narrative, that it's the perfect stereotype of what people are labeling black culture, that our people want to be respected amongst everybody else in the world because it's not just the United States of America. And let's be clear, Western culture is pretty ratchet. Like, it's bad. You got feminism. You got too much woke culture. We got these indoctrination camps that we call schools nowadays that validate this and think that this is cool. We always see some graduation ceremony that's horrible, but even worse is prom season. Now, prom season used to be, for black culture in particular, it used to be a space where people was kind of like celebrating moving into manhood and your first real big dance after homecoming when you was going to high school and stuff like that. And you just used to be fresh. And the biggest thing that you did was probably ask for your cousins, your brothers, your fathers, or your uncle's car or your homeboy's car because you wanted to stunt on them. Now, it looks like the biggest ratchet fest that I've ever seen in my entire life. And black people want me to be quiet about this. They want us, those of us that are speaking out with voices that don't agree because, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And the inclusion part does not include people that disagree with you about black culture, or if you're conservative, or if you're Republican. It only includes people that agree with you. Now, you can be an agreeable person if you are white. You can be an agreeable person if you are gay. But you cannot be an agreeable person if you are black that disagree or you stand on a different completely side than the people that are promoting this nonsense to our destruction. And yes, it is destruction, but it is horrible and it's bad, and they are promoting it even more, and we're celebrating it, but we still want the respect of the world. That's weird, isn't it?
Bad. And you think you're gonna check me in? I bet you we won't.
Okay? I paid for a ticket.
And you
I paid for a
$25
ticket.
for Agent SCC, and you check in 3 hours later. Hello.
I just said that I.
Get on your flight.
Yeah, I just said that I would pay the $25.
Get on your flight. And you thought you was gonna get on your flight. And you thought you was gonna get on your flight. And you thought you was gonna get on your flight.
I literally paid for a ticket. I'm here 30 minutes. I'm here 30 minutes before my flight, and they're not letting me check in.
And you're not getting on your flight.
Because it's a policy. We don't control that.
You will never fly.
You were about to let me check in. You were about to let me check in, and you decided that you ain't gonna let me check in.
Make me check you in.
You literally work for a company that I bought a plane ticket for. I'm here 30 minutes before the flight.
Can you please leave, sir?
No.
Can you please leave my personal space?
I'm not in your personal space. This is not your personal space.
This is my stationery.
This is not your personal space. You work for a company. This is not your personal space.
We ain't gotta worry about it. We ain't gotta worry about it.
You don't have to worry about it. You're literally not doing your job for a customer that has paid for a plane ticket to get home.
I told you to stop putting the camera on me, sir.
So yeah, I'm 53, completely single by choice, and also no children by choice. Love my life, have incredible friends, and travel is the secret to my happiness. I do not wait around for some man to show up to travel with me or to explore places with me. I do it on my own and have so much fun, and usually take friends with me, meet friends wherever I go. It's the secret to my personal happiness. So if you're out there whining and complaining that you can't find a guy and your life is not worth living, then you better knock it off and rethink the way you're living your life, because you got one shot, babies. So have fun and enjoy it while you can, single or not.
I've recently been talking about the fact that I'm kind of swearing off relationships for a little while, but it's not because I have no faith in love and it's never gonna happen again and when I'm so sad, nobody ever does me right, blah, blah, blah. It's not all that shit. It's actually more of the fact that I am just not in the emotional or mental position to be responsible for somebody else's needs in a relationship. And if I'm not ready to offer or meet someone's needs that I fall for in a relationship, I shouldn't be in a relationship with them. And it's really that simple. It's really that simple. If you're not ready to manage a relationship, don't get into one. For that reason, I'm not dating. I'm not looking around. I'm not interested in dating. I'm not going to meet up with anyone. I'm not going to go on dating apps. I'm not going to entertain conversations with people that I find attractive unless it's really just friendly, because I'm not in the mental or emotional position to offer anything to a relationship. And it is not right for me to get into a relationship when I'm not ready to meet anyone's expectations. And emotionally, I can't handle someone having expectations of me. In a relationship, that's normal. But right now, that's just not my vibe. That's not how I just can't do it. I can't do it, okay? And if I'm not ready for that, it's wrong of me to entertain romance with people, even if I'm open and honest about this. I would rather leave no room for anyone to get hurt, including myself, because I'm low-key a lover girl, okay? And after what I just went through, I just need time to heal. I need time to recover, and I need time to honestly find all the things again that I love about myself and highlight them.
When I say I'm single and people are like, oh, don't worry, you're gonna find someone. No, I'm not single because I lack of options. I'm single because it's a choice. No one can handle me. I cannot even handle myself.
I just want to remind people that being single is a luxury and you need to start treating it as that. You literally don't know when's the last day you're going to be single. You can get into a relationship tonight, tomorrow, next month, next year, whatever the case may be. You should need to enjoy this moment right now, because one day you're going to find your for-lifer. You might get married, you might have kids, you might not, whatever, but you might find your partner, and that's the last time you're going to be single. People need to start enjoying themselves, enjoying their own company. And
if a woman ever tells you that she is celibate and she's been celibate for a long time, it's for one very specific reason. And that reason is no man that she has met throughout the time of being celibate has been able to mentally stimulate her. A lot of women out here who are celibate and have been celibate for a long time, they're not even looking for the craziest thing in men. They're not even asking for the most. All they're asking for is a good, deep conversation that leads to mental stimulation. I guarantee that if you are willing to stimulate a woman who's been celibate for a long time, you can mentally and emotionally stimulate her. She's willing to ride you like a motherfucking saddle, guaranteed 100%. The only problem is a lot of men, unfortunately, don't really prioritize a mental and or emotional connection because they don't care to connect mentally or emotionally with women. All they want to connect through is through the physical, not through anything else. But the moment you connect with a woman through the mind and through the emotion, through the intellect, you're going to see a side of her that you didn't even know existed. And sometimes I'll be feeling bad for women, not going to lie, because all they want is a connection and a conversation, and they can't even get that. Men are not even able to provide that.
As a woman, the smarter you are, the more single you will be. Don't take this the wrong way. As a woman, the smarter and more aware that you are, the more single you will be. Why? Most men, all they require is admiration and complete submission from a partner. Most women, the more smart and more aware that they get, the more that they require more complex and more nuanced things from a partner. And if we live in a world where we're all aware that most people are not that bright, most people are not that smart, what do you think is going to happen? Now, this is not to say that everybody who's in a relationship is not smart or not bright. Because some of you are like, I have a boyfriend. Does that mean I'm stupid? I can already hear it now. I got a girl. Does that mean I'm not that bright or smart? No, that's not what I'm saying. Sometimes. But for a majority of situations, I'd say that the smarter you are, right? The more aware you are, the more difficult it will be, and the longer that you might remain single. That's why they call it settle down. It's called settle down for a reason. You have to settle down. All that thing, all that rah. You know, so if we know most of the world not that bright, most people are not that smart, and you go amongst those people, you know, you're a different breed. Just say you're a cow going amongst sheep, and you say, I can't find a partner. Of course you can't find a partner. You're going moo. They're going bad. You're going moo. They're going bad. There's two different breeds, fam. You're not going to find a partner here. And that's just what it is. You know, I think sometimes people need to come to terms with that. You might need to dumb yourself down a little bit, if we're being honest. It's just what it is.
I really don't know what to do anymore. I have spent my whole life feeling unattractive and unwanted by men. I have tried decentering them, but the reality is I'm lonely. I want a partner. And I just continue to be so incredibly hurt and disappointed regularly. And I'm also tired of seeing them go through life not caring that their actions are really very hurtful. In case in point, I am on Bumble again. I wanted to get back on Bumble BFF, and I figured, like, well, while I'm doing that, maybe I'll do the dating side too and just see how it goes. You know, I want to be available to meet my person. And so I opened the app to reply to someone from Bumble BFF this morning and ended up swiping on a couple of guys on the dating side. And I matched with one who I thought was really attractive, and he just like seemed like a great match. And then I just went to message him and the match was gone. So you know what I mean by like their actions being so hurtful, or just like to just swipe right on everyone and then decide who you're interested in when you match with them is honestly such a cruel thing to do, because I got really excited about this guy and now it's just gone. So here I am crying before 9 a.m. and I just don't know what to do. I just feel like I'm out of options at this point, and I'm honestly relieved that I don't want kids, because otherwise I would feel like I'm running out of time. I just feel really defeated, and I know that I'm worthy and I deserve love, and I just don't know that I'm ever gonna get it. Yeah, I want to go back to bed and restart this day, because wow.
One of the single best ways to find out if a man is actually a good person is to see how he treats women that he finds unattractive. There is no one kinder in this world than a man that finds you beautiful and wants to sleep with you. I know this is going to ruffle some feathers, but men who don't find you attractive often don't see you as a person. How do I know this, you may ask? Because you may be saying, oh my God, you're so beautiful and so funny and so amazing. I love your TikToks. And I'm going, thank you. But actually, in reality, I used to be 23 kilos heavier and I've had loads of plastic surgery and cosmetic shit done. I talk a lot about that. And men used to be really, really mean to me. I've had doors slammed in my face. I've been completely ignored. I've been laughed at. These are sometimes even boyfriends or situationships of my girlfriends that have just completely ignored me and wanted nothing to do with me because they didn't find me attractive. Fast forward to now, everyone's really nice to me. All the men are really nice to me. How strange, how weird. I've been on dates with guys before where they have been so kind, so nice to me, so loving. And then the waitress will come over. She may be a little older, she may be a little bit overweight, and they turn into a complete and utter asshole. There was one time where I actually went on holiday with this guy, and on the way back we went for dinner, and he started talking, he was a bit older than me, he started talking about women his own age and how they were disgusting, how they were old, how he wanted nothing to do with them, and how he loved me because I was young and blah, blah, blah. I never saw that man again. Never saw him again. Instantly, you know, when they start talking about a woman that they find unattractive, if they start belittling her, they do not respect women, they do not see that women as people, and they're someone you shouldn't fuck with. Now, my boyfriend, on the other hand, he is kind to everyone. He's obviously the kindest to me, because like, why wouldn't he be? Because I'm so funny and hot and amazing. But he's kind to a Victoria's Secret model, and he's equally as kind to a little old babushka making pure money. This is what you have to look out for. If a man is rude to women that he does not find attractive, you're going to get old, girly. Unfortunately, we're all going to age. You can use all the creams, you can do all the injections, everything you want in the world, but you're going to get old. And that man, if that man starts disrespecting you and being rude to you because you've aged or he doesn't find you as attractive anymore, that's going to happen to you. The woman that he's talking about being like, oh, she's old, she's ugly, that's going to be you one day, honey. I'm really sorry to tell you. You can take care of yourself as much as you want, but that's going to be you. You need to find a man that actually respects you and loves you for you, as well as your beauty.
And I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. If you look ugly, if you look crazy, that's all on you, baby. And being broke isn't an excuse either. One thing about me is I'm gonna always have my maintenance done, and you do not have to spend hundreds of dollars. You see this stuff on my eyebrows? I am tinting my own eyebrows. And what did I use? Just for Men Beard dye for $8. I think I got it at Target. And you see my lashes? I did not spend hundreds of dollars getting it done. I got some lash clusters off of Shein, and I did my own cluster lashes. I got my nails done at the nail salon this time, but I promise you, when I was a broke college student, I was going to CVS or Target, getting some Kiss nail press-ons, and doing my own nails for about $10. People will literally look at me and think I always have it all together and think I spend hundreds of dollars keeping myself up, but I really don't. We live in an age where you can literally go on the internet and learn how to do anything yourself. You can learn how to do your hair, you can learn how to do your lashes, you can learn how to tint your own eyebrows, you can learn how to do your nails. You can do everything yourself. So it really bothers me when people call themselves ugly or say they don't have money to have these things, because you don't need the money. You just need to have the motivation. And I promise you, one thing about me is I'd rather learn and spend some $10 doing my own maintenance than to just go outside looking crazy and using being broke as an excuse. Okay, now time for the final reveal of my eyebrows, because I know that's probably what you're waiting for. I'm obsessed with tinting my own eyebrows. Okay, now the other side. See, and just like that, I tinted my own eyebrows. Now stop calling yourself ugly and stop using the fact that you're broke as an excuse. If you want to learn how to be a baddie on a budget, you gotta follow me for the tea. Bye, babes.
I watched a video from a creator this morning about ugly privilege, she called it. I'm gonna try to find her video after I film this because I want to tag it in the caption. She has what she calls ugly privilege. And I had never heard this term before, but my friend and I had come up with like a similar term a few years ago. I'm not even saying this to be self-deprecating, but generally when I move through the world, I do not like command attention based on my looks, if that makes sense. And I don't think that's a problem. I don't think that everyone has to be the most beautiful girl in the world when they walk into a room. That's not my job. I have other strengths. Basically, my exact same experience as the girl who made the original video is that I don't really get unwanted male attention in public. I don't even, when I was single and I was dating, I didn't even really get wanted male attention. And I don't know, like, it might be because I have curly hair, it might be the glasses, it might be that I'm a brunette. Like, I hear stories from my blonde friends about how they just have the weirdest, most out-of-pocket interactions with men in public, like almost non-stop. I saw Arden Rose talk about this before, about how she would never go back to being blonde because she got the most unwanted male attention that she ever got when she had blonde hair. I remember when I was like 17, 18, 19, like when I would hear all of these women and like see online, like all of the discourse about what a problem catcalling was, like I kind of like didn't believe it. Like, I hate to say it, but like I was a teenager, but like I was denying women's experiences because I was like, there's no way you guys are getting catcalled this much. No, they were. I just wasn't.
You think being celibate is suffering? Wait till you give your body away to somebody who don't even appreciate you or value you or respect what you give to them. That's gonna really hurt you. Don't give it up. Keep it all for yourself.
If you were to tell 16-year-old me that I would be celibate at 20 years old, I would laugh in your face and say that you're fucking insane. But the joke is actually on me because I have been for the last year of my life, and I think I will be for the next little while or so. And by celibacy, I mean just like no romantic interactions whatsoever. Probably wondering, Paula, who forced you? God did. No, I'm just kidding. My surgeon did. I got my butthole taken out, and for 6 weeks I couldn't have the green sex in hand because I was in that like recovery period and I needed everything to heal down there. But within that time frame, I had a lot of thinking time, and I did a lot of thinking. Number one is that I have never agreed with hookup culture, okay? If you ask me, I think that it's an extremely toxic thing to take part in. I think it creates soul ties every single time that you sleep with someone, and I think that every single time that you create those soul ties, you are attaching yourself to a person, hence hence stopping your own spiritual personal growth. I could literally talk about that forever, but in short, I just didn't agree with it. It didn't sit right with me, and it didn't make me feel good as a person. But unfortunately, in high school, I fell into peer pressure a lot. And so I was basically a sloot just to fit in with the other kids and to do what everyone else was doing. Within those 6 weeks that I was just sitting around and thinking, I found out that I was just doing that to fit in and not because it's something that I wanted to do. Number 2. A lot of people, when they go through traumatic breakups, they basically put a band-aid over the wound by just getting with another person, okay? I've tried that, I've done it before, and I mean, it does temporarily work, but in the long run, that person that you used as a band-aid to cover the wound that that other person made could actually act as salt to the wound and just make the wound hurt even more, meaning that they could possibly trigger past traumas that you have, and then what? You're not healing! And number 3 was discovering my own self-worth. I used to thrive off of validation from men. It basically fed me for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I wasn't realizing how much I was relying on that to build my own self-esteem until I didn't have any. And there was this whole withdrawal period where I was like, fuck, what do I do? And my self-esteem went down. In that short period of time where I was freaking out, wondering where I was going to get this self-confidence from, I realized that I can just find it within myself. So the main reason that just encompasses them all was just to heal by myself without external validation from anyone else. I will say that there was a withdrawal period where you want to text that person and you want to reach out to so-and-so just to feel like you are being wanted and to be reminded of your self-worth. But the longer that I sat there on my own, not hearing the words that I wanted to hear from anyone else and told them to myself instead, the more that I could feel block by block, I was rebuilding my confidence, my self-worth, etc. It's taught me so much about myself and so much about what I've tolerated in other people and what I won't tolerate ever again. I am most certainly not going to tell you what to do, but I am most certainly going to recommend this period of my life tremendously to anyone that is, you know, trying to focus on their self-growth, on their self-worth, or just trying to heal wounds that have never closed. I think that nobody's able to do this kind of healing work other than themselves, and doing it alone is just that more meaningful.
I have been single for over 6 years and I've been celibate for 3. And if there's anything that I can tell you from this experience is that it is the greatest thing that will ever happen to you if you choose to walk the path of being single. I never discovered who I was until I was truly on my own and alone, and I did not experience nowhere near the amount of growth that I have experienced. I found so much self-worth. I found all of my passions. I found my hobbies. I've really cultivated who I am, and I got to the point where I was so comfortable being alone that 3 years of celibacy just came naturally to me, which is the most craziest thing ever. If you would have told me 7 years ago that I would ever even be saying that, I would be like, you're fucking crazy. The hardest part about being single for this long is just the beginning, just the withdrawal period of getting to, because you don't really know yourself yet. So you're not really comfortable with just your own presence, and you still need other people to validate your existence, and you're constantly wanting to text someone, tell them about your day. So that period where you're adjusting to not having someone all the time and you have to validate your own existence, that's the only part that's really uncomfortable. And the more that you go into it, the more you just start to flow through it with ease, and then you get really, really comfortable with being on your own. And when you get really comfortable with being on your own, you really raise the bar for who comes into your life, because they need to make your life significantly better. Essentially, the more time that you spend on your own and cultivating a relationship with yourself, the higher your standards get. And that is a really great thing. You can technically kiss toxic relationships goodbye, because the healthiest relationship you can ever have is with yourself. So if you're contemplating being single and going down that journey, I could not recommend it enough.
No, because I don't understand why as a single woman, I go through these weird phases of being celibate for weeks, even months at a time. And then all of a sudden one day the tide turns and I have a full-blown roster of like 10 men. Please explain that to me, because I can't explain it. PEMDAS does not make that shit add up. But something happens, like all this, I'm like, did I just get more attractive? Or am I just attracting? Or am I just attracting? Because I can't explain it, but it happens to me quite often.
It's come to the point where being single is just a lot safer than dating, getting into a relationship, being in a situationship, or anything with anybody, because the way that these men are set up nowadays, the way that these men move about, the way that these men lie, cheat, finesse, use, abuse, mistreat, all of that, the way that they do that so openly and also without any remorse, without any care, like, what is going on? I don't understand. Like, nobody can convince me at any point right now that being in a relationship is better than being single. Nobody, because I am so at peace and content with myself. The only times I feel like stressed out is when I see what these women are going through at the hands of these men. Like when I reflect on my past relationship, I remember the stress. When I see other women going through it in their relationship every day, the algorithm wants to show me stories of women who are going through it with these men who have been cheated on, who have been abused, who have been lied to. And it's just like, is there even a point of being in a relationship? I don't think anybody could convince me at this point.
6 brutally honest and slightly controversial reasons why I'm still single. Number 1, I can't multi-date. If I fancy someone, I'm just not interested in anybody else. We're living in a culture of options and rosters. We're actively encouraged to be dating multiple people at once, so that when one person lets you down, you've got other people to fall back on. Just can't do it. I'm not interested. Number 2, I want to feel an instant spark. These days, we're taught that it's unhealthy if you feel an instant spark and fireworks with the person that you're dating, and supposedly it's your nervous system reacting to them being bad for you. But I'm sorry, if I'm going to spend the rest of my life with someone, I want to fancy the pants off them, and I want there to be a really strong connection between us. I've tried dating guys in the past where there was absolutely no spark, but I kept going because I knew they were a good person, and the spark never came. So you end up just wasting people's time and wasting your own time. I've got plenty of friends who went on a date and was so excited about the person, fancied them, couldn't wait to see them again. Now they're together and happier than ever. So every time I go on a date and I'm like, not really sure I fancied him, and people are like, oh no, just give him a chance. I'm like, no, I want to hold out for a really strong connection, and I'm not wasting my time on lukewarm connections. I need to be heavily pursued. Like a lot of women, I've spent many years in the current dating pool, which is full of men who are low effort, they lie, they're disrespectful, they ghost, they lead you on and they use you. So unless a man is actively pursuing me and showing me that he's serious for a prolonged period of time, it's not going to go anywhere, because I'm just going to assume that he's another of these low effort, unserious men. Because in the past, whenever I felt like I didn't know where I stood with someone, it was just because they didn't like me. Past experience has taught me if a man isn't actively pursuing you and making a ton of effort, get out because he doesn't care. And that's shit for all of the guys who are good guys. But unfortunately, that's what I need. If a man isn't going to make a ton of effort, I'd rather just be on my own. Number 4, I'm too quick to cut people off. I have dealt with every shade of nonsense that there is in dating. It never paid off, so I don't part with it anymore. In 21 years of dating, a man has never ever proved to me that it pays off giving a man a second chance. So now you either come correct or don't bother. And again, a lot of men probably aren't going to want to be held to this standard, but I figure if I find a guy who really likes me, he won't mind. Next one, I hate how I get when I start liking somebody. You know, when you start getting a bit of a crush and you're smiling at your phone, wanting to speak to them all the time, waiting for the text back. I hate when I become that, because that is when you can be disappointed. And I feel way too much and I care way too much. And sadly, in modern dating, 95% of the time that care is not reciprocated. So I'd just rather not give my love and care to people who aren't going to appreciate it, and they're just going to fuck off. Finally, I find it hard to believe that anyone is ever going to love me. I know I'm a great person and super lovable because of how my friends and family treat me. I bring so many nice qualities to the table. I'm kind, I'm caring, I'm loyal, I'm genuine, I'm honest, I'm empathetic, I'm really reliable. But most men never find that out because they don't even want to get to know you as a person. And frankly, they don't care what you're like as a person. For the last 4 years, I've just been treated like someone who is only good enough for sex, not for commitment. And I don't care how much healing and self-care that you do, you are going to take that to heart ever so slightly. But there's times where I feel like I'm just not attractive enough and not good enough for a relationship. And I'm not just saying that because I want compliments. That is genuinely how I've been made to feel by men in the modern dating scene. And now it's very hard to feel optimistic about finding a guy in this modern generation who wants to do more than sleep with you and use you, and actually wants to commit to you because he cares about you and values you as a person. And maybe one last reason, I'd rather be alone than settle. And that's settling for all of the things I've spoke about. Someone who dates multiple people, someone with whom there's no spark, someone who doesn't pursue me and make effort, someone who doesn't reciprocate love and care, and someone who doesn't see me as wife material and just wants to sleep with me. I'd rather be alone forever than settle for any of that.
2.5 years of celibacy and being happily single has been the most amazing decision I could have ever made for myself. I've not actively dated anyone at all. There's no interest. There's no need, there's no desire, there's no want, there's no craving, any of that whatsoever. And I can honestly say the peace is literally another level. I can do what I want, I can go where I want, I can say what I want, I can wear what I want, I can achieve those goals, I can do absolutely anything that I personally desire. And I never had that when I was in relationships. I was very suppressed by them. I was very put in a little box and hidden away from the world. I felt that it wasn't allowed for me to be me. It wasn't allowed for me to have my personality shining, all the colours of my personality. I was mentally, emotionally, and physically drained. In fact, when I was in relationships, I looked older than my actual age. Can you actually believe that I turned 40 not long ago? I just feel better within myself because, yes, there's the normal everyday stresses of life, that's normal. But I don't have that extra stress or pressure or having my life source drained out of me if I was in a relationship. And I'm not saying all relationships are bad. Oh my gosh, no, before you start flooding the comments. I'm not saying that at all. It is just my own personal choice. And yes, I know it goes both ways as well, before you flood my comment section about that too. But I'm talking from my perspective as a woman. Life for me has been much, much better choosing to remain single and choosing to remain celibate. I've discovered so much about myself, I really have. And it's beautiful. I love it. I love the freedom. I love it so much. And for anyone else out there that has made this choice to remain single, celibate, abstinent, let me know how it has impacted and changed your life.
What happened to men pursuing girls? When was the pivotal moment that a man chose to not go after a girl anymore or put in any effort? It seems like guys can just put the bare minimum and not even really put in effort anymore. They don't really care to. Or they're like, why don't girls just go and make the first move and make the effort? When did it become a thing? Now it's like role reversal where they expect girls to be making the first moves, yearning for a guy and chasing him. That is, I feel like, the downfall of why it's so hard to meet someone, because men don't put in effort anymore or don't care to put in effort. And a relationship won't work unless the guy likes the girl just a tiny little bit more. He has to like her just the tiniest bit more for it to work in the long haul. So it would make sense if a guy really wanted to get to know you, that he would go leaps and bounds to get to know you. And when did that shift? Because back in my mom's era, if a guy wanted to take you out on a date, he had to go up to you, he had to get your number, he had to go through lengths to try to talk to you, even if you weren't interested at first. How my parents met? They met at a bar, and my dad asked for my mom to dance, and my mom was like, get out of here. She wanted nothing to do with him. If he had just left and listened to her, they would have never gone married, they would have never had kids. But he was persistent. He wanted to take her out on a date so badly. He was like, what do I have to do to take you out on a date? She was working late their first date, so he went to her work, picked her up, prepped a dinner, took her to a park, just planned the whole thing. He wrote her poetry. He was yearning. How my aunt and my uncle met. My aunt was a dancer on a cruise ship, and he was the photographer, and he was persistent. She overheard him one night saying to his buddy, he was like, I'm gonna marry that girl. He had just met her, and now they're married, and they have 2 kids together. I don't hear anything like that now. Now we're praising eye contact. Now we're praising if a guy held a door open to us and smiled. That is what we're praising. It feels so backwards. I just wonder when it shifted, because I feel like that is the whole downfall of why it's so hard to meet someone now, because men just don't care anymore.
I have given up looking for a girlfriend at 21, and forget about a wife. That shit is out the fucking window. I'm at the point now where whoever responds to my "what you doing tonight" text first has me. That's it. That's where we're at now. Very simple man.